127, Monday, March 8th. Today's International Women's Day. We'll cover it more on the show. It's a day that really celebrates the accomplishments of women and also pushes more for gender parity, which we need in America on so many levels. We'll cover it more on this show. So over the weekend, some great news. The Senate passed President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. The House, it's slightly different than the House's version, but essentially the same. But they have to revote Wednesday in the House on it. It's expected to pass. This bill is a lifeline for people. Nearly 19 million Americans right now still are collecting some form of unemployment benefits. Last week alone, 750,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits. And for some perspective, that's 4 times the amount of people who filed on average week pre the Trump recession. You've got millions of Americans sadly going to bed hungry. And for most Americans on federal unemployment benefits, those end in 2 weeks. So it is a great move for our nation to help people. And this bill is going to help the states as well. I mean, and the allocation is very generous for the red and blue states. You know, Texas has the second most amount of people in the nation. They get the second most amount of money in this program. They're getting $27 billion. Florida's getting $17 billion. Georgia's getting $8 billion. So California gets the most, but has the most people. That's how it works out. It's very fair. It's not like with Donald Trump pitting red states versus blue states. In this scenario, more people, the more relief you get. That makes sense. There's so much of this bill that can be liked, and it's why nearly 70% of Americans in poll after poll support this, including 35% of Republicans. So when you hear those numbers, you hear how it's needed, how it's so vitally important for so many of our fellow Americans. We have millions of families going to bed hungry now, including children. It's stunning, and lines at food banks that we've never seen before. But despite all this, every single Republican in the House and the Senate voted no. They voted no on direct stimulus payments of $1,400 to you, and even your children would get it in this scenario. No to funding COVID vaccine distribution money. No to $130 billion to reopen schools. They say they want to open schools. They don't want to fund it. No to funding police departments. That's what state and local government funding is about. So they actually voted to defund the police. That's what the GOP is about right now. And yet, look what happened in 2017. Every single Republican in the House and Senate voted for a $1.9 trillion tax cut for corporations and the wealthy. In fact, and that's not exaggeration when I say it's for the wealthy, over the first 10 years of that tax program, over 80% of the benefits, 80% go to the top 1%. That's what the GOP cares about. They care about their wealthy donors, not working class Republicans, Democrats, or independents. They don't. But I think it's even more cynical what they've done here by voting against this. And this might sound extreme, but I think it's accurate knowing where the GOP is today. I think the GOP voted against this because they're rooting for the economy to fail. You might say, why would they do that? Well, it's simple. The economy gets stronger between now and November 2022, midterm elections. Joe Biden's approval rating goes up. It's very likely Democrats hold the House and the Senate. But if they can bring things down, they can hurt the economy. Then it can slow the economy down and give them a better chance of winning in 2022. And, you know, we heard Republicans say Democrats wanted the economy to fail in the past. That was a lie. But what we know about the GOP is they're all about projection. They tell you what they're thinking. They tell you how they think. They've done that in the past. That's what they're doing now. There's no defense for all voting against this bill. I mean, keep in mind, nearly 40% of Republicans support the COVID relief bill, meaning out of the 261 Republicans in the House and the Senate, you would see 70 or 80 supporting this if they reflected the actual rank and file of the GOP, but they don't. All the GOP cares about is power. That's simple. They don't want to earn power by helping people. They want it through any way possible, through voter suppression efforts, through the January 6th insurrection, which we now learned in a new poll, 40% of Republicans, 40% support political violence in certain circumstances, such as when President Trump claimed there was fraud. I can assure you that number is much higher. All the GOP wants is power. They'll take it anyway, voter suppression, violence, or rooting for the economy to fail. And it's not going to fail. This money's going to go out there. It's needed. It's going to prime the economy. You give middle class and lower income Americans $1,400 each adult and for their children as well. they're going to spend it. We're all going to spend it. That primes the economy. You give unemployment benefits to people from now through September. It's extended. They're going to spend it. That helps the economy. They're buying, they need food and items for where they live, paying their rent. That all primes the economy. Funding state and local governments means no layoffs. The GOP wanted layoffs. They fought that under Trump so much. No funding for state and local governments. They wanted layoffs to hurt the blue states. It's not going to happen now. This is so good for America, the COVID relief bill. It's sad the GOP only concern is loyalty to Donald Trump continuing and rooting against our economy to help them achieve power. That's what the GOP is. I wish I was wrong. I wish we were at a different time when Democrats and Republicans actually worked together on a bipartisan basis when people were in need. In fact, you remember, the Democrats did work with Republicans under Trump in making sure we had COVID relief, but then Republicans wanted the economy to do well because they thought it would help Trump get reelected. Now with Trump gone, the same people who voted for COVID relief under Trump are saying no now because they want to hurt the economy. They want Biden to fail. They don't care how many Americans suffer, how painful it is. They don't care how many children go to bed hungry because they're not the pro-life party. They're not the pro-America party. They're the pro-Trump party. They're pro-power at all cost party. So we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about a lot more details about the difference between the House and the Senate bill that's passed now, how it's going to help Americans in any event. A lot to get through. My show is live 6 to 9 p.m. on Sirius XM, as I say every night. If you don't subscribe, go to the website. There's free trials. Then listen to my show, channel 127, 6 to 9 p.m. Better than listen, call in. Be a part of our family. We've got a lot of work to do to make this country the way it should be. If you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning into the preview of tonight's Dino Bidala.